Alright, number 13, we're raising this problem to the -1 power. So we have 3 to the third, a to the third, b, all over b squared, raised to the -1. So since this exponent is a 1, none of the exponents are going to change value. The negative is just going to cause them to get moved in the opposite location. So I'm going to go ahead and just do that, kind of like what we did in the previous problem. We're just going to flip this and get rid of that negative exponent. So this will become b squared over 3 cubed a cubed times b. And then from here, we will subtract exponents. So I have 2. We're going to subtract 1. It's going to leave us with 1b on the top and no b's on the bottom. And 3 is a number. We're going to go ahead and cube that. 3 times 3 times 3 will give us 27. And then our a cubed will be unaffected. So our final answer here gives us b on the top over 27 a cubed. All right, 14. 2a cubed times a -b squared, b to the -2nd power, let's say that right, and then b squared on the bottom, all raised to the 3rd power. So a couple things you can do. You can either raise everything to the 3rd power first and then simplify inside. In this case, I'm going to simplify inside first and then raise everything to that 3rd power. So this negative power is going to get moved down, and that will cause me to add those two b's together, and then everything else will stay. So I will have a 2a cubed over, this will be a b to the 4th raised to the 3rd. So now I'm going to raise everything to the 3rd power. Alright, doing so will give me 2 to the 3rd. 3 times 3 will give me a to the 9th. And then 4 times 3 will give me b to the 12th. And since 2 is a number, we can actually evaluate that. So we will do 2 times itself 3 times, and that will give us 8. And then we'll have our a to the 9th and b to the 12th. A to the 9th over b to the 12th. Hit a wrong character. Oh, 8a, that is a 9. And gotta go down b to the 12th. Okay, so our last one, we have 4x cubed y to the -2nd raised to the -3rd, all over 2 x to the -2nd times y. And this is all to the negative second. Okay, so these negative exponents on the outside, we can take care of those first by just flip-flopping this fraction. The negatives on the inside are not affected, though. We're just taking the outside first. So, first part, this bottom is going to move up. 2x negative second still, y. This is now raised to the positive second power because I moved it. And now moving this one down will give me 4x cubed y to the negative second raised to the third. And that took care of that negative. Now we're going to raise everything to the power of 2 on the top. So that's the y squared, the y will, the x, and the 2, all of them. So let's go ahead and evaluate this. 2 squared will give us 4. 2 times negative 2 will give me x to the negative 4th. And y doesn't have an exponent, it's a 1, so 2 times 1 will give me y squared. Right on the bottom, everything's getting raised to the third, so let's go ahead and evaluate. 4 to the third will give us 64. And then 3 times 3 will give us x to the 9th. And then 3 times negative 2 will give us y to the negative 6th power. Okay, so now let's 4, we're going to reduce. I'm going to make this positive by moving it down, and when I do, it's going to combine with this. I'm going to make this one positive by moving it up, and when it's going to combine with the 2. So with the numbers, we're going to reduce like normal. 4 and 64 are both divisible by 4. Divide by 4, we get 1. Divide by 4, we get 16. So coefficient of a 1 here. On the bottom, we get 16. 1 understood, we won't need it at the end. This positive 4 gets moved down to make it positive. We already have a 9. So 9, adding this 4, because it becomes positive, will give us an x to the 13th on the bottom. This y to the negative 6 will get moved up and combine with these 2 here. When we move it up, it becomes positive, and we'll have 2 plus 6, which gives us y to the 8th. And so now that I have a term up top, I don't need this 1. And so we just end up with y to the 8th over 16x to the 13th.